please like our video and subscribe to RotoWire. Then go to rotowire.com/pod for a free 10-day trial.
And we're back talking about last week's LABR draft, so-called expert league draft, League of Alternative Baseball Reality. It was, and I say that tongue in cheek, the whole expert industry community, label it what you want. It doesn't bother me. I mean, people that try to convey information and how to do well with your fantasy baseball leagues are participating in this contest. And they've been, in most cases, they've been doing it for a very long time. We're old, after all. Getting older every day beats the alternative. But it's a good challenge. People that have done the research know their stuff. They may play a little differently than you might, especially if there's not an overall contest. But it's a good vantage point. For me, it's like one of the big starts to fantasy baseball season. A lot of people tune into it. It gets played on Sirius XM. A lot of people react to it on Twitter, positive and negative, and it gets the talking storm going. So you won this league, Fred. You're the defending champ, so they stuck you at the back, just like you deserve.
Not fair.
Yeah. And you started off. We previewed. You said that if Bauer was gone, you were going to go hitter. You followed through with your promise. You went Lindor and Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, I wasn't super excited about Freeman. I kind of wanted to get a little more steals base if I was going to go hitter, but Freeman was the highest ranked guy left in my projections, and you can't be upset about taking Freddie Freeman. He's such a good player.
You definitely got two floor guys there. Lindor is a floor guy. I'll be honest, I'm not that high on Lindor. I think the ballpark change hurts him a little bit. I'm worried about him stopping running, but it's hard for you to go broke on this pick. The bad version of Lindor is he's a 4th or 5th rounder, unless he just completely implodes. But
totally.
I don't see a complete implosion. And
I like him in the Mets lineup. So we'll see which way the steals go. I also think there could be some initial steals, just some enthusiasm this year, and they're letting him do whatever.
Yeah. Wanting to stick it to his old team. I could see that too.
Yeah, and he's also heading for free agency.
Also true.
Like we talked about with Betts last year, that before he signed the big contract, that if the Mets said to Freeman, hey, we just want you to steal 5 bags this year, just really protect yourself, he'd be like, are you kidding me? I need to show every aspect of this skill set until somebody signs me to that $300 million contract. So
right.
Anyways, I totally fine with the start. Was worried about getting pitching after that a little bit, but then ended up getting plenty of it.
You got all the windfalls, Fred. It stinks. You got on the 3-4 turn, Brandon Woodruff and Zach Gallen. I'm upset about Gallen, but even Woodruff is going. I see Woodruff going the second round in some drafts, or very early in the third. Second round was a very a pitcher, and you can read my review of the draft on RotoWire, and maybe I'll throw a link to it in the description here after. But you can read it. If you look at the grid, it's yellow brick road in the second round, the Derek Van Riper phrase. Yeah. Darvish, Nola, Buehler, Castillo, Giolito, then one hitter, then Scherzer, Flaherty, Kershaw, also in the second round. You had to be worried when you saw that, what's going to happen in the third round. But then it was all hitters in the third round until it got to you, and you get Woodruff and Gallen. Gallen made me sick. I almost went 3 pitchers to start off the draft. You go with Gallen at 3.8, but I didn't. So I'm not a real man.
Woodruff was the one who seemed to make a lot of people sick. Well, his ADP, as you say, is earlier than Gallen's. So when I saw the all pitchers going in the second, I wasn't panicked because I knew there would be that we would catch up at some point. I knew the third round would be hitter heavy once the second round was pitcher heavy, but I didn't think so. Yeah. So when we say it was hitter heavy in the third round, Woodruff was the only pitcher taken in the third round. I didn't quite see that coming. I assumed Woodruff would go, and maybe I could get Gallen. And if I got really I was really worried about a scenario where they both went, and then I'd have to figure out something more creative with my pitching staff. And I was deciding if I was going to be stubborn and take 2 more hitters or what. But anyways, didn't happen, and I was able to take them. And then I was shocked that Kenta Maeda came back to me at the very end, around 5, pick 75, because we had just talked about him last week on the pod, and we said we were a little iffy on him at his ADP, which was 47, 48. I am iffy on him at pick 47, 48, but at pick 75, I felt like that was an easy call.
So I have about a pick 90 grade on him.
I was surprised with that. I feel like you must have his innings low. I don't know. Maybe you're just
let's pull it really up here. Find out, but
I have him. We talked about him versus Lance Lynn, and we both said we would take Lynn. but when I was talking about that, I was talking like around pick 50, so like early to mid round 4. I didn't think he would make it through round 5.
My centralized theory.
Yes.
His year last year sticks out like a sore thumb.
Well,
that's not.
Go ahead.
There's no way that's just like, he's that much better of a pitcher.
Oh no, but I feel like you can take his numbers from last year and blow them up like tremendously, and he still fits at picks. I felt like he fits at pick 75. Depends whether you're projecting him, I think, for like 170 innings or like 150.
For 175 innings. Now I have a 3.94 ERA. That's probably where I'm high on the board.
I'm 3.6 and 1.1 on the ratio.
I'm 3.94 and 1.1 with and 13 wins. If you give him 15 wins, actually, all of a sudden that boom that jumps up a little bit, right? Each marginal win is so important, and that's the damn thing about projections is you just add 2 wins or add 3 saves, and all of a sudden it blows up the value, and that's all. Maybe yes, there are you find good teams. Yes, you get more wins on good teams, but 15 versus 12. I mean, that happens. On any team, you get that variance any given year. That's a lot of variance. I won't say luck, but it's variance, and I think people need to understand the distinction between those two, because he has to be pitching well to first place. Of course, if he has a 3.2 ERA, I'm going to be an idiot about this. But his career 422, 381, 404, 270. Which one's the outlier?
Yeah, no, you're right. And like I said, I went back up to 3.6. Maybe I should have gone up a little higher. But I think if I bumped him to 3.8 or something, I think I still would have taken him at that pick. I can actually type that in here as we're talking. Yeah, it moves him down in my rankings a couple spots, but it still keeps him at the end around 5. So I wasn't planning on taking 3 starters, but it all worked out fine. And then that kind of took the pressure off as far as picking starting pitching goes. Yeah. Then I ended up with Framber Valdez a few rounds later. Now I have 4 starters. And I'm good.
You got everybody's last year's darling. You're the anti last year's bum guy. Woodruff, Gallen, Maeda, Framber.
It's true.
I mean, you got everybody that's coming off a career year.
Staff. Yes, in the
career
pitching
year
staff,
or
at least.
Future brilliance too. Maybe new level. I guess that's the debate. Now I'm on team Zach Gallen, so I'm and I don't criticize the Woodruff pick. I know you want to hammer me on Woodruff, but I'm going to just throw it at you since we're not going to do Brewers today. We'll just talk about it now a little bit. I have him starting pitcher 14 now. I improved it. I updated all the NL pitchers, by the way, last week. And when I did that, he jumped up a few spots. And I may have even given him a little bit of an extra boost thinking about it a little bit more. But yeah, he's another one of those guys that, hey, got to face these weak little sisters at the NL Central and the AL Central all last year. Now he's got to go outside that, have a brave new world. Pitched very well against the Dodgers in the playoffs, though, so just like Bauer did against the Reds. So you could think that maybe he's got this stuff to get past it. We've seen him have good years before. It's not like it's a real reach to put him in this territory, but it's definitely, he's getting drafted higher and higher. He's getting, in many cases, he's in that second tier. You got him at the start of the third tier.
Yeah, I have him at SP11, but I have Gallen, for example, like right behind him. I think there's a drop off kind of after him and Gallen. I'm not a big Blake Snell guy, and some of the other Tyler Glass now. So I think he's kind of at the bottom of that tier, but I'm kind of like equally comfortable with a lot of them. But yeah, he's another one with the central theory. Mm-hmm. So we'll see about that. But you're right. I do have some pitchers, him, Gallen, and Framber Valdez, who all are, substantially increased their stock last season.
That's true.
But they all are young pitchers who were expected to enhance their stock last season. Maeda is the other one. Maeda is the one who's older. And although I felt like Maeda got a new lease on life last year, he got out of that Dodgers organization that always jerked him around between the rotation and the bullpen. Not that the Dodgers are certainly good with pitchers. But they never really gave him that chance to just be a starter, and the Twins did.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. You went 2 catchers in your first 10 picks. Is that a plan all along?
Not a plan, but it's something that I am pretty accustomed to doing. I almost always get 1 catcher in my first 10 picks. I don't need to, but I will. I find there's just a lot of people out there who don't want to draft catchers, who don't want to acknowledge what the SGPs kind of tell them, that catchers are valuable. There is that worry that they'll get hurt, but
of course.
So
we'll
I
about, by the way.
Yeah. So Yeah, it's a factor. Although I think Jeff Zimmerman's published some stuff at Fangraphs showing that showing that catchers aren't that much more risky than the other position players, that as much as we worry about catchers being injury risks. So I would have been happy with one and then take one guy late. In the end, you and I both like Will Smith. I don't like the 5-6 turn. I've noticed that now through a couple drafts I did. There were 15 teams. I don't like the 5-6 turn. There just aren't a lot of players I like. So sure, I'll grab a catcher I like in Will Smith. And then Christian Vasquez on the 9-10 turn. I like Vasquez just kind of I just kind of have him in a tier with Contreras and Grandal, and I think those are, and then it keeps me out of dealing with these catchers who are kind of black holes on your roster.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't know if I have the courage to do that, and especially since I got such negative reinforcement for my JT Realmuto pick in the 3rd round. But we'll see. I don't know. And the other thing
we'll come back to Realmuto in a minute because I want to talk about that one.
Yeah. And as we saw, and the other thing is, if we don't have that DH in the NL, and it's looking increasingly the case, Will Smith's going to get hurt by that. He's going to lose some playing time. He won't get those DH at bats when Barnes plays, and Barnes will play more than other backups.
Yep. So I've tried to be. You're right. I've tried to be conservative with my projections of Will Smith. Like I have him for fewer plate appearances than Christian Vasquez, than Contreras, than Grandal. Like I'm trying to be conservative. He's actually such a good hitter, or has been such a good hitter so far in his major league career, that if I gave him the plate appearances of those other guys, I would be considering him even a lot sooner than this, because he like his career OPS is in the 900s. He's a catcher. Like his OPS is in the 900s. Like that's unheard of. So, and he's in a great lineup. Like if they were going to give him 125 starts, like I would take him in round 4. But I know they're not going to. Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to look at the rest of your roster real quick. I see Lindor at the top, have some speed. Maybe Freeman's not a complete slug. He'll get you a couple. Vasquez sneakily will get you maybe 2 or 3 sometimes. I don't see a whole lot of speed, though. I don't see too many primary burners. I know Willie Castro, we've talked about him in previous podcasts, but he hasn't run much at the big league level yet.
No.
Do you feel like you have enough speed on this team?
It's my biggest concern. My biggest worry with the team is I'm more dependent on Tommy Pham than I wanted to be. So like a healthy Tommy Pham's about a 20 steal guy.
Yep.
And that's what really swings me from down near the basement in steals to up towards the middle of the pack. But we know Pham, like, he's had a lot of injury issues of late. Like a healthy Tommy Pham tends to be really productive. He's a 20-20 type guy, hits high in a really good lineup. He could be really good. It's a pick that if we did the draft again and could start right from that moment, I wouldn't take Pham. I would have taken someone else, and there were more outfielders I liked later, but I felt at that point, you're right. So that was the drawback from Freddie Freeman. And that's, I can't complain about drafting Freddie Freeman, but this is something I've been talking a lot about this year, that like you need steals early. If you don't get steals early, it paints you into a bit of a corner where you have to reach or get aggressive to get some steals later. If that Freddie Freeman pick had have been even Cody Bellinger, I probably would have felt, which was another 12, 13 steals, I probably would have felt less pressure to take Pham. But when I took Pham, that was my thinking. On the 7-8 turn, I was like, I need some steals. Like at that point, I had not even 30 steals, and we're into round 7-8 turn, and I know they disappear. So
sure.
Eric Hosmer
Bellinger's
gets
a fade for me at cost.
Right.
Batting average,
I understand that.
Batting order, maybe a little bit. Health.
Yeah.
Yep. If that shoulder's not 100%, maybe he doesn't run. Because he can't slide head first.
Yeah, I have Lindor ahead of Bellinger. So I have them very even, but I have Lindor. If they were both there on my turn, I would have taken.
I don't take Bellinger until the 2-3 turn.
Interesting. Okay, that's a big drop.
That's a fade. Sure. It's definitely a guy I won't have because he'll never go there. Absent more bad news in spring training, which, by the way, my grade probably drops concurrently with that. Actually, you have one other concern, and I know you want to grill me too. But let's do this real quick. I don't see a full-time closer on your roster. I see Drew Pomerantz, and I think Melanson had already signed with the Padres by then, hadn't he?
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you got him in the 18th round. So was this a plan, a design for you, just to not pay for closers?
Nope. No, I was willing. I the 3-4 turn felt a little rich. The numbers bear it out that it would have been fine. But when I could get Woodruff and Gallen, I was like, okay, I can't pass that up.
Of course, I take
but
those
then
too.
And then Chapman was gone by I would have considered Chapman on the 5-6 turn, but he was gone. And I didn't feel like I wanted any of the other guys on the 5-6 turn. And then the 7-8 turn, Ryan Presley was gone and Edwin Diaz was gone. Edwin Diaz makes me so nervous anyways, but he was gone. And, I've said what I said about Karinchak. I don't think I'm ready to take him at that point. I just felt like I missed. This is what happens when you're on the end.
It really is. You have to either reach or dumpster dive. And
yeah. So I could have.
But it is a trading league, and rumor has it you will trade. And if there's two things that are easy to trade for in fantasy leagues, it's saves and steals.
Yeah. Yes, because the guy who gets too many of them, someone will be out 10 steals ahead of the pack because he hits on in these up in the air bullpens. He hits on 2 of them and already drafted a closer before that. So it was like I just missed it on the runs. On the 11-12 when it was coming back, Kimbrel and Colome went shortly before my pick. And so anyways, I think there's a chance Pomerantz is the Padres closer. I think he's their best reliever. It could be Melanson. I don't know. I would have been happy to get Melanson too, but that wasn't possible, like just with where he went. I'm also a guy who, as much as I like to trade, I might like to punt just as much. So if I have to punt saves, if Pomerantz just gets no saves and I just punt saves, then I'll just punt saves.
Easiest category to punt in a standalone league. And I've had great successes doing that. My AL only home league, I do that all the time. It's a 4x4 league, which makes you think, oh, you can't punt saves there. Yes, you can. And not only that, but it's an only league, so you can grab the Pomerantzes of the world, all of them on the super cheap. 2 of them could fall into the job. You fab another, you'd make a trade, and you can get 6-7 points in the category, and you're fine. Or just go on your merry way. I mean, it depends on if you got to hit on your other picks. Obviously, you got to have a better offense because of that, but it works.
I felt like with Pomerantz, he's so good that he's in that category of where I'd still want to roster him and use him even if he's not closing. I didn't really want to grab guys who, like the Anthony Bass types, where if they don't have the closer's job, I'm gonna have to cut them. I didn't want to get them at least at that point in the draft.
Sure, that's understandable.
Yeah.
All right, we got about 11 minutes, maybe a little less. Grill me, go.
I'm ready to rock. Okay, so you started pitcher, Cole and Giolito.
Yep.
I thought Giolito fell really far.
Yes, I did.
So I thought that was awesome. If I had to take a pitcher on the 1-2 turn, I might have taken him over Darvish. It would have been a decision. So I thought that was great. I gather from just us messaging that wasn't a full plan on your part, but you were comfortable with it.
Yeah, it was a scenario I'd mapped out. If Castillo, if it's Giolito goes instead of Castillo immediately before me, I take a hitter. I probably take Bo Bichette. I might take Manny Machado. Those are the 2 guys I was thinking about at that spot. Bichette goes 2.15. Machado goes 3.3, which is just sick and wrong.
Yes, disgusting.
But there's a lot. It's a snake draft. There's a lot of
How
other
about
good players.
Ray Flowers at 3 got Acuna and then Machado in round 3.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Yep. So one of the 2 scenarios I mapped out. Perfect. Yep. Super happy with Giolito there. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and it worked out well because you took a lot of hitters after that. So I wanted to ask you with Realmuto. So if we were drafting again today, you would not take Realmuto at that spot, knowing what you know?
I wouldn't take him in the 4th round. I'd wait at least to the 5th round. Going back to everybody, Scott Pianowski, why introduce an already injured guy into the equation? Guys get hurt, as we saw with him. And here's always the argument about catchers is he got hurt catching, blocking balls. And that's the nature of the game. And here's the thing, maybe as Jeff showed numerically, it's not as any more risky at catcher than any other position. But when you pay for an elite catcher and lose them, replacement value is nil. You can find, every once in a while, a Will Smith or a Mitch Garver comes up on the waiver wire. I guarantee you there's fewer and far between than any other position, and you're not guaranteed to get them. You can go through 4 other guys before you stumble upon them.
That's right. So, if Realmuto gets hurt during the season, you're basically picking up Andrew Knapp. Like his backup. Like you're picking up his backup because you just need at-bats the next week. So I would still take Realmuto on round 4, I think. So this makes me feel like we should make a trade, but I'll see if I can work on that.
No, it's just because I have enough exposure to
Will Smith and something for him. What's that?
It's because I already have enough exposure to him, though. That's one of the reasons why I wouldn't take it again, because I've already living it through there. So I'm not going to give you him. You're not getting like a 9th round price for him or anything like that.
Well, I could give you Will Smith and more probably for him. I think we could maybe work something out that way. I know you like Will Smith.
Depends what the more is, but Will Smith is his price might be dwindling a little bit too. But all right, keep going.
So you took 2 Cubs. So
yes, I did.
Baez and Bryant. The Cubs lineup kind of fell apart last season. They were 2 of the big reasons. You took Baez, I should say, first by a couple rounds. Is that because you're more confident in Baez, or is that because his ADP warranted you? Like, which one are you more confident in bouncing back this year?
Bryant was a target. Baez was a value pick, I thought.
Right.
If that makes sense. Although Bryant, I feel, is an extreme value too. But Baez gives you some power speed combo hope. It's the point where I steered into the notion that I'm not punting batting average, but I'm also not sweating batting average at the draft table.
Yeah, I don't see your team as a punting batting average team at all. Like, especially because you have a catcher who will hit for average, which is a lot of what pulls down teams that don't hit for average, is having two catchers who hit 220.
Right.
So yeah, Baez can hit for average. He just doesn't walk. Like, he doesn't get on base, but he hits for average. Bryant can hit for average. So yeah, I don't see that at all. But you're right. It's a riskier average team.
Yeah, he hit 203 last year. I mean, he hits that, but he could hit 265, and if he does that, it's probably a win for me.
Yep, absolutely. So which one are you more worried about? Like, Bryant's the one who has the like all around plate skills, like, but he's had the injuries, the shoulder and everything. Baez is the one who everyone said, well, he never walks. So if the batting average ever falls off, he's like really not valuable. Like, which one are you more confident?
Yeah.
Yes. That's what happens with the non-walkers.
I'm more worried about Baez, actually, in part because of opportunity cost. It cost me Nelson Cruz, who I thought maybe I can sneak him in the 7th round. We had talked about Nelson Cruz last podcast, broke down the Twins. I told you I would not let you have him at the end of the 7th round. He didn't even get to the 7th round.
You're right.
I had my shot at it. I'm like, he took him already. Joe Pisapia from Fantasy Black Book, and he's with Paul Sporer and Justin Mason and the rest of the announcers booth at the Naked Gun announcers booth there. Kurt Gowdy's there. They're all like, Nordberg's falling down the stairs. But how about that? Of course, they took Nelson Cruz. I'm like, okay, and I had that coming. I deserve it. I'm supposed to be the Nelson Cruz guy, and I didn't take him there. So shame on me.
It's great. It's great karma when he goes with the very next pick. When you think to yourself, I can let Nelson Cruz ride one more round, and then he goes on the very next pick, as though just karma is saying to you, like, come on, Jeff, just take him.
You have like your rankings got him in the 70s, yet you passed on him at what 88. What do you get what you did, and you don't get upset.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, let's look at a few more of these. So, back to back later, you took Sandy Alcantara and Marco Gonzalez. Are you much more confident in Alcantara, or are those
I love
two pretty?
Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah, you love. If I had to guess, you love him, and Gonzalez, you're just like, hey, this guy will not disappoint as my number 4 starter.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
He's boring, like Kevin Mather said, to bring this all the way back to the.
Oh yeah. Good old Kevin Mather.
Boring
so
is
last
good
year
in
I did the main event with Tim Schuler, RotoWire's treasure CTO and super smart guy and fun golfer, good golfer. Anyhow, he was pushing me to take Marco Gonzalez last year. I'm like, nah, he doesn't strike out enough. I don't want him at any cost. I don't care. It's just not on my list. Wrong. And I thought, okay, well, maybe it's probably just a fluke. And then I dug in. He's actually pretty good. And as I was doing my projections over the winter, I was like, yeah, I'm on board with this guy. And here I am. I was like, okay, I thought this was value. I mean, and the thing is, I wasn't thrilled with 9 and 10. Like, I wanted Kenley, actually. I was pretty happy with Kenley. Would have preferred Han, who went 1 pick before me. But Kenley at that price is a bargain, I think. I understand the risk. Clint Frazier was kind of I want Yaz. Nope. I want Will Myers. Nope. I want Santander. Nope. They all went 3 out of the 4 picks immediately before me. Tick, tick, tick. 45-second clock. Okay, I'll take Frazier next on my list.
Yeah.
Wasn't thrilled with it. Then I saw like Montas go. I saw Bundy go. Guys I like. Gossman go. But Alcantara and Gonzalez, I was happy with that combo. And especially because those were my 3 and 4 starting pitchers. Needed them. Got them. Happy with that.
Yeah, I like Alcantara a lot. I probably would have drafted him before you, except I had so many starting pitchers already.
Yeah.
Gonzalez, I was a little higher on earlier, say like December when I was doing my projections. The 6-man rotation, the announcement that that's back this year, I downgraded his innings a little, and that just bumped him down my list a little bit and moved a few more guys ahead of him. But I still like him. I think he's great as your number 4 starter. Like I said, he's not going to let you down.
Right.
I think it's a great pick.
Thank you.
I want to talk closers though while we're talking pitching. So
let's talk.
So Kenley Jansen, you're happy about. I get that. Archie Bradley, you grabbed. And then what I said, so I said to you in our show notes.
When's ever that gone wrong, by the way? You know.
Yeah. I said in our show notes, did the police come to your door to arrest you for stealing Jordan Hicks in round 20? I thought that was an amazing pick.
Thank you.
I just think he could get 30 saves. Like they seem like he's going to be their closer. They might ease him into it, but he's going to be their closer. Right? And if it doesn't work at round 20, so what do you got? You got 100-mile-an-hour throwing high leverage middle reliever. Like that's not bad.
Right.
So my biggest question though was, did you think about taking Hector Neris? Because I kind of nailed it down to, I believe you took Cesar Hernandez, and you could have taken Hector Neris and just played your chances that Cesar Hernandez would make it back to you. Like once we're into round 20 something, there's a chance, pretty decent chance, you leave a guy like a Cesar Hernandez who's kind of like not a super exciting guy that he'll come back to you. So do you wish you took Neris just so you have both Phillies save options? No, you're that
certainly
confident,
not at the
Bradley.
expense of Hernandez. I was playing second base chicken. Hernandez is my first second baseman.
Right.
And options were Scott. I don't play full-time Kingery, but I get paid like a full-timer. And Tommy La Stella, who we talked about earlier to start. Speaking about coming full circle, Hernandez, I hope he runs a little bit. That's what I hope. I did take one other second baseman later. Neris stinks. I don't think he's any good.
Okay.
So no, you can't take every handcuff. You can't cover every possibility. So it doesn't hurt me. It could hurt.
I do think
but
once you had Hicks too, I guess then.
Yeah. Exactly.
If Bradley doesn't work, like the odds are pretty good that Bradley or Hicks will work. That gets you your 2 closers.
And I took another flyer later in Lucas Sims just in case.
I was about to say that. Like you'll probably be able to stash Sims. If you can't stash Sims, that's really good news because it means he makes it back for opening day and could get their very first save chance. So I thought Sims was on my radar for kind of like last couple rounds. So was Josh Fleming, actually. I think Josh Fleming's an interesting pick.
Yeah.
At the very end, he was kind of on my radar for the last couple rounds. The one pick, I guess, from you so someone who's just not on my radar at his ADP is Leody Taveras.
Okay.
You took him in round 14.
Right.
How many steals are you thinking? Are you hoping for?
I have like high 20s for him in the projection.
So he's your Tommy Pham basically. Like he's your guy who will make or break whether you're like strong in steals or weak in steals. Probably like when we're all aiming for 100 to 120 steals, that 25 to 30 from him, like that'll be the difference for you.
Right. And he's not the only guy. I have Grisham, I have Hernandez, Baez will probably steal a couple. Dansby Swanson could steal a 10. So it's not like mission critical, but if Taveras shows any sort of improvement at the plate, he's going to get 25 to 30 stolen bases with an even higher upside. I mean, his floor is the ocean. I mean, that is also possible. He could hit 220, and he could be in the minors. His floor is the minor leagues.
Totally. Yeah.
I feel like I paid a decent enough price for him, around 14. I mean, there are other good hitters there, so he might have made it back to me. I could have.
You mixed in around him some kind of bland but safe hitters, though, which is good. Like Christian Walker, Carlos Santana, AJ Pollock, like those guys. They're the total opposites. Different positions, different skill sets, but they're the guys who will just keep bringing in the RBIs and runs scored. Well, hopefully Taveras is like that boomer bust pick. Hopefully booms.
Right. Hey, I know you've got like hockey. You're going to become Scotty Bowman up there, so we got to get you going out of here. Are you coaching or playing, by the way?
Or just sitting in the stands. Oh no, I'm just sitting in the stands.
Scouting.
I'm driving to the rink like I do 8 times a week. I am just driving to the rink and sitting in the stands.
Ready to make a trade. I can see it happening.
You'll get a message between the next hour and a half.
All right. We are going. I look forward to it. We're going to do a couple teams next week, and we'll have to figure a way to accelerate that process so we don't have pod marathons. But good luck at hockey. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Autonew for sponsoring us. We will have the Prospect Pod again tomorrow, and I've got Randy Wilkins on Thursday. Good filmmaker, big Yankees fan. A lot of stuff to talk about then. Excited about that. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review, and take care.
Please like our video and subscribe to RotoWire. Then go to rotowire.com/pod for a free 10-day trial.